All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the discussion for the proposed determination for the East Murray Subdivision. My name is Eric Hacking. I am joined by Michael Drake, Assistant State Engineer over Adjudication, and Ryan Broadbent, Engineering Manager in the Adjudication section. We're also joined by Mike Ferguson, Assistant Attorney General that works with the division. And our goal for this meeting is to give an introduction to the proposed determination that was published November 10th, and discuss how you can interact with the document. So our agenda for tonight is we're going to be going through an adjudication process review, proposed determination overview, a hydrographic survey map overview, and how you can access both the proposed determination and the hydrographic survey maps. We will then have a question section where you are free to ask any questions that you want to. Questions can also be emailed to waterrights_adjudication@utah.gov. And there it will go to someone that will know where to send your email, and we'll be able to help you out. So what is a general stream adjudication? The general stream adjudication is an action in the state district court that joins all water users together, including state and federal agencies and the state engineer. It's governed by Utah State Code Title 73, Chapter 4. And its purpose is to determine the nature and extent of all existing water rights within each river drainage. And the way I like to think about this is it's a census. It helps us know what water rights are being put to use and helps match our records versus what is actually being used. And this is done for a variety of reasons. For one is to bring all claims onto the permanent record. This includes pre-statutory claims, so diligence claims filed prior to 1903 and underground water claims prior to 1935s, and it also includes federal reserve rights, so rights owned by the federal government. We also do an adjudication to prevent a multiplicity of suits. As you can imagine, water rights issues can get complicated and involve a lot of different parties, so we do an adjudication so we don't have a million suits going around involving different parties throughout the state. Another purpose is to remove or reduce rights which have been wholly or partially forfeited through non-use. So Utah has, under statute, if a portion of a water right is not used within 7 years, it can either be partially or completely forfeited, and that is something that will be recommended during this general stream adjudication. And fourth is to obtain a final comprehensive decree on all water rights within this respective drainage. Next, we'll go through the adjudication process and where the East Murray Subdivision fits in. So you can see the dates of various events going on during the publication of the proposed determination. So the adjudication process is split into 3 phases. The first phase, as you can see in green, is the initiation phase. This started on September 5th, 1944, with a petition to the court to perform an adjudication in the Utah Lake and Jordan River area. And then notices were sent out March 2018, which really started this whole process. Summons were sent out April 6, 2018, and an initial public meeting was held April 17th, 2018 to similar to this one, to let people know what was going on with the general stream adjudication and how the process worked. The next step is what's known as the claim filing phase. So all the owners So summons were sent to all registered property owners, registered agents, and water rights owners in the area to discuss how the East Murray book would move forward. During the claim filing phase, we published and sent out a notice to file claims, which we published a notice that all water right users are required to submit a water user's claim for a water right they might be using at this time. After a 90-day period, we published what's known as a list of unclaimed rights. This happened on October 18th, 2018, after which there was a 90-day objection period where if there was any rights of record that had not been claimed, and if they were yours, this was your opportunity to go ahead and file an objection and get those removed from the list of unclaimed rights. Following that, we had another public meeting where we discussed objection to the list of unclaimed rights, and on June 5th, we published the objection resolution was taken care of, and an interlocutory decree on the list of unclaimed rights was completed, and we moved on to the final phase. So for the third phase, this is the claim investigation phase. On May 29th, 2019, we sent out a final summons, and through 2018 to 2022, up till pretty recently, we were investigating these claims. These claims, at the end of the investigation of these claims, we created what's known as a state engineer's recommendation, which is what we are recommending to the court for each of these rights that they be recognized for. These state engineer's recommendations were then combined into what's known as a proposed determination, and that is the document that we are talking about today. We published this proposed determination on November 10th, 2022, and from that point, you have 90 days to file an objection, which is February 8th, 2023. And then we're having the final public meeting today. And once any objections are taken care of and resolved, there will be a final decree on this area, and we will be done. Exciting day. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about the various components of the proposed determination and how to interact with them. So you can see the various components here, and we'll walk through each one of those and let you know the important parts and how to interact with them. All right, so for the East Murray proposed determination, here is the title page. This has some useful information. One thing of note is which court this particular case is in. So it's Third Judicial District Court, as you can see here. And right here we have the general adjudication description and civil case number. So if you need to file an objection, this is an important number to make note of. This is the hydrologic division and subdivision name. So Salt Lake County East Division, East Murray Subdivision. This is the area number 57 and book 20. This is useful to know because this is how the state engineer organizes these areas and books sometimes. So if you are looking for East Murray, it's area 57, book 20. All right, next we have the next section of the proposed determination is the notice to water users. And this again has some important information. Right here we've got the civil case number, again, which you need if you're going to file an objection, and this case is presided over by the Honorable Laura S. Scott. All right, right here is an important section where if these are the instructions to file an objection. An important thing to note here is that you need to file in writing with the Third District Court within 90 days of that publication date. It also mentions that you should serve a copy of the objection to the counsel for the Division of Water Rights, which are listed below here. All right, another key aspect of a proposed determination is the preamble. Now, the important thing with the preamble is it explains how the proposed determination is governed. So they're governed. There's a lot of good information here. So it talks about the area was covered, when it was commenced, things like the duty value or the irrigation, the definition of the irrigation season for this area, things of that nature. Another important aspect of the preamble is the prior decree section. This basically states that there was a decree before our current proposed determination in this area. For the East Murray Division, it was the 1910 Morris Little Cottonwood Decree. And the important thing to know about this section is that the PD has considered and included all prior decrees. All right, next we have the location map for East Murray. As you can see, we're bounded over here by Van Winkle on the east, I-215 on the south, State Street over here. And the important thing to know here is we only investigated rights with points of diversion within this boundary. All right. Next, let's talk about the priority schedule. So this is important in Utah because water is just distributed based off of prior appropriation, which means if shortages were to happen, the priority date determines who would receive water first. Now, there's a couple of important things to look out for on this page. One thing, the source for the water of any surface sources is listed over here. Now, for the East Murray book, the vast majority of these rights ended up being underground water wells. So the surface source isn't going to apply to too many rights, but nevertheless, the source is listed there. Next, we have the priority date, which I previously mentioned, but this is important because if cuts need to happen, they will happen by priority date. All right, next we've got flow rate or annual volume that each right is allowed. These are both limitations of the right. Not every right will have both. As you can see here, we've got this right has both a flow rate limitation and a volumetric limitation, whereas this right, if you can see, is just a volumetric. All right, next we have the water right number. This is how the water rights are identified on the state engineer's records. So in the East Murray area, all the rights begin with 57 dash and then a number, and that will be your specific number. Next, we have the owner of record.
Hang on a second, Eric. Your slides aren't keeping up.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Transferring, okay, okay. All right, next we've got the owner of record, which is on the, for this case, is Little Cottonwood Brown Ditch Company. Now, the important thing to know is that the county recorder's office is the official office of record for ownership. So if you are listed as the owner with the county recorder's office and you need to update title to one of these rights, our office is more than happy to help you with that. You're going to need to file what's called a report of conveyance, and we can get you updated. All right. Next, let's take a look at an actual water right and give an example of the various components that are involved on each of these. So to start with, the water right number is up here. And as I said before, all the rights in this book start with 57 dash and then the identification number. The owner of record listed right here. Again, if this is your right and your name isn't listed under the owner, talk with us about updating via report of conveyance. Next, we have the type of right. So in this case, it is an underground water claim with, and here will be either an application number, or in this case, it's a claim number, and the quantity of water allowed by the right. All right. Next, we have the priority date, which again is important given how water works in Utah, and the source. So for surface sources, this would show the creek or river or wherever it is coming from. But again, in East Murray, the vast majority of these are underground water wells. All right, here we have the point of diversion location given via the public land survey system and township and ranges. And also there would be well data here if any is available. And for this one, there is not. All right, next we have a water use group. Water use groups are kind of complicated, but basically multiple rights can be used for the same purpose. And in that case, we place them, or they are in water use groups together. So in this case, we have 57-231 and 3596 together to form water use group number 411677. Next, we have the nature of beneficial use. So here we would have whatever uses the right is allowed to do. Commonly, this would be irrigation, a domestic, and stock watering. There's also municipalities is another common usage, and you might see other with specific niche uses, let's say. All right, period of use. So this is the allowed time that the time at which the water right can be used. So for irrigation in this area, the standard season is April 1st to October 31st. For a domestic or stock water, this would probably be year round. All right, now here is the sole supply for a water right. This is the amount that is only supplied by this water right. So as you can see with group total, we have a higher number. That's because these two rights, the 57-231 and 3596, combine for a group total of 2.95 acres. Over here, we have place of use, which is defined first by section, township, and range. And then further divided into quarter sections marked by an X under the specific quarter section. So real quick, for example, this one would be in section 20, township 2 south, range 1 east. And if you can see here, there's a small X marking. It's in the northwest of the northeast quarter. And as you can see over here, we list the total irrigated acreage in this section. If the water right had multiple sections, the usage allowed in each section would be defined here. All right, and the last important thing to mention on a water right is the general comments. These are...
Just a second, Eric, your slides are still slowing down a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Apologize, everyone. We seem to be having some internet issues today.
All right, let's caught back up.
Okay, so the general comments are just where we can put any information relevant to the right that doesn't fit anywhere else. So for example, with this one, this right is limited to an annual depletion of 18.87 acre feet. And that's gonna have to do with the specific history of this right, but it isn't immediately evident. So we have the other comments right here. All right. Next part of the proposed determination, we have the forfeited rights. And these are rights which are being recommended for forfeiture due to evidence of non-use for a period of 7 years or more based on state statute. All right. So again, you can see we've got the water right number listed here. Next, we've got the owner of record again. and the point of diversion and source. All right. The next section we have is the list of invalid claims. So these are rights that are being disallowed due to invalidity based on there's no legal basis for the right. So an example of these would be diligence claims filed or claiming water usage after 1902, or just rights not established in accordance with Utah code. And again, we've got the water right number, owner of record, and the location of the point of diversion and the source. All right. And lastly, we have the alphabetical index. This is a handy way to find your right quickly. It's alphabetical based on the name of the owner of record, as you can see. It also lists the point of diversion or source, water right number, and then the pages over here to let you know everywhere that right is mentioned. All right. That
Can I
concludes.
interject real quick, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one more thing on the list or the forfeited rights section. That only lists rights that are forfeited in their entirety, meaning we found no use whatsoever. If a right is partially forfeited, meaning we only found a part of the use that was allowed, they will be listed in the description of water rights section with a reduced beneficial use. So just kind of to clarify that.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so that does conclude the proposed determination document. And now we'll talk about the hydrographic survey maps that we also published at the same time. All right, so the hydrographic survey maps are a visual record of the findings of the water uses in a geographic subdivision. There's a few pieces to go over. There's standard map stuff, so north arrow, scale bar, etc. Here we've got a legend where you can see we've got points of diversion and water use groups, as well as our page boundaries, townships and sections, etc. Here is the map location. This is important because this lets you tell from the title page where we're looking at in zoomed in. And here we've got irrigated acreages. So whenever a right had irrigation that was currently being placed to use, we went ahead and mapped that, and it is represented by these polygons. This mapping will be integrated into our online software on our website, and it's got useful information. So, yeah. All right. Now, accessing the proposed determination. So notices of the proposed determination were sent to water right owners listed on the records of the state engineer, claimants who submitted claims in the East Murray Adjudication, registered agents for the corporate entities owning water rights or having filed claims within the adjudication boundary, counsel of record who have filed an appearance in the court. And so the proposed determination can be accessed via this website. Hard copies may also be purchased from our office for a nominal fee. And it was also filed at the district court, so you can check it out there. The hydrographic survey maps are available on our website, and hard copies are available in our office. All right. Next, if you have any discussion or any questions or discussions with the adjudication process, here are some people you can contact. You can contact myself, Eric Hacking. I'm an adjudication engineer. Here's my phone number. You can also contact Michael Drake. He's the assistant state engineer over adjudication. Here's his contact info. And finally, there's Ryan Broadbent, the adjudication engineering manager over here in the adjudication section. As well as we also have a general adjudication line, and you're welcome to come into our physical offices. We have a great public inquiry team that would love to help you with any issues you have. All right, and questions. Let's open it up.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. we getting any?
So feel free if you've got a microphone to speak up, or you can type them in the chat and we'll try and answer them.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Max.
This area, we have a lot of irrigation ditches, the Walker and the Tanner, especially, and they're surface water from the Little Cottonwood Creek.
Mhm.
And I notice here on number 7, it says shared statements not applicable. It talks about, anyway, the water comes into this area, but it starts in another area. Is that why it's not included in this
Yes.
adjudication?
Yes, so it's going to all be listed based on where they first pull Walker and Tanner and all those other ditches out of Little Cottonwood Creek, which will be in either the Fort Union book or the Little Cottonwood Creek book, which are forthcoming probably early next year.
Okay, and the Brown, I suppose, since they take their water in this area, that's why they're in this adjudication.
Yeah, they're the farthest one downstream, and they are in their point that they pull from falls within this boundary.
Okay, that's my question.
Yep, no problem.
Anything else? We can also end the recording and talk off record, or if you are more comfortable calling us individually, that is also an option.
All right, so if we've got no more questions, I will go ahead and end the recording.
All right.